All right, welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. I love this podcast, Marcus. You know that?
I see.
I absolutely love this podcast because I get to connect with people and get free game and cover it as a podcast. So if I didn't know you, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey Marcus, man, I just need an hour of your time, man. How much would you charge me?
I couldn't even put a price tag on it.
But okay, if I ran up on you in the street, would you say, okay, let's do it? Or are you like, get the course?
Nah, you have to get the consultation. I get you with the link in the bio for the free consultation. To talk to the team. But no, with just me, really on a coaching to spend an hour because of everything that would be able to get covered, at minimum, $2,000 to $3,000.
$2,000 to $3,000. So start a podcast, you get $2,000 to $3,000 worth of time for free. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
I love it, man. First off, I see you and Rick Ross. Y'all got a bunch of situations going on, man, in terms of the financial literacy. But before we get there, I guess introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Marcus Barney, also known as Him 500. I teach financial literacy. I specialize in teaching things that you can't Google when it comes to financial strategies on how to turn your credit into cash.
Like one. Give me one. Give me one.
A way to turn your credit into cash. I tell a lot of people is that when you go to build your credit report, once you clean the negative items off, you want to learn how to start building, right? So when you start building, I tell people, listen, it's a website called Swap-A-Lease.
Swap-A-Lease?
Swap-A-Lease.
Swap-A-Lease.
Yeah, Swap-A-Lease. So with Swap-A-Lease, I tell people, I say, listen, go find the cheapest car. So over my time, I found the cheapest car was a smart car. The smart car costs about $221 a month. You can find them and you take over somebody else's lease. When you take over somebody else's lease, they don't want it anymore, so they're willing to pay to get out of it.
Oh. So it's like subject to for cars. Subject to in real estate, you just take over there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but now imagine is that now I don't have a down payment.
Right.
Now I go pick up a vehicle when it's time for me to, this is just building my report. So I go get the vehicle and it's $221 a month. Let's say it has a year left on it, right? Or 18 months, but even at a year, I tell people, listen, then you just simply take the vehicle. It's a smart car, small. Most people think they can't fit in it. I'm a bigger gentleman, but I fit in it, right? So I got the smart car, right? So I said, listen, you take the smart car, $221 a month. You go out and you contact David Shands and say, Dave, let me put Real Social Proof on the left side for $221 a month. I'm gonna keep it in Metro Atlanta that it'll be exposed between 10 to 30,000 people per month because it's gonna be riding around Metro Atlanta for 12 hours a day. Shands is gonna say, $221 and you're gonna put it on the side of my car? I don't know, you gonna say no?
Nah, what? Let's do it.
So you find 3 of them. So now at 3 people, now that vehicle now at $220 on this side, $220 on this side, $220 on this side, that's $660 a month I make off a $221
So you
car
get this $200 car, you sell advertising on 3 sides of the car.
Yes.
And for the same amount of the lease.
Of the car note.
The car note.
Yeah, the lease note.
Gotcha.
Now, I got a car note that was $220 and now I make $660. Now I look and I go, okay, but how do I keep it in Metro Atlanta for 12 hours? Do I park it? No. I go find people that's between the ages of 21 to 25 and I say, listen, I got opportunity for you to drive and you just post an ad on Indeed, right? I tell everybody, test your websites. I don't tell you just jump out there and go get the car first. Test the websites. Post an ad on Indeed for people who are willing to drive and willing to pay $150 a week. Don't worry about gas or insurance. Insurance on a smart car is $30. Don't pay for the gas. I'll pay for it. You pay me $150 a week. You can drive for 6 hours out of the day. Well, guess what? I get 2 kids driving it at $150 a week. That's $300 a week. Times 12.
So each kid can drive it for 6 hours a day.
Yes, and go do Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash.
For $150 a week.
$150 a week.
So you got advertising for $600 a month so far. Plus you're getting, if it's 2 kids driving it, $150 a week, that's $300 a week. So that's another $1,200 per month.
Yes.
Off a $200 smart car.
Off a $200 smart car. You just turn your credit to cash. You making $1,800 a month off a smart car. But since we hearing you, my man, that's turning credit to cash.
Right.
But what people don't know, and they say, listen, this is my goal is that we in the 21st century. We don't live in the early 80s and the early 90s, late 80s. We have such an issue with assets and liabilities. I thought it said it on your shirt. Okay, so, right, is that with assets and liabilities, we're stuck, and the only realistic liability we have in today's society is our mindset. The way that we can think, the way that we can judge, and the way that we can execute. So when people look at a vehicle, now I just turn that vehicle, which most people say is a liability, into an asset. So you mean to tell me, they go, oh, you should leasing, because cars are depreciating, they're depreciating liabilities.
Right.
But in today's society, we got apps like Turo.
Right.
In today's society, we got things like Hire Car. In today's society, we got Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta that movie sets that literally rent cars and pull them on trucks and don't even put miles on them. To where now if you have an exotic vehicle or a nice vehicle, you can make it an actual asset because it generates capital more than it depreciates. So if you know the depreciation calculation of what it's going to depreciate and it makes more than that, this is an asset. Now it's a cash-driven asset. We have to get our mind out the way and start learning how to use technology. We let people sit there and tell us, yeah, we should lease vehicles and do this. Listen, if the vehicle pays for itself and then by the time it depreciates to its bottom dollar, if it's already paid for itself, I now have a car free and clear that if I do get ready to sell it, I still can have it has a solid resale value.
Wow.
You've never seen a Rolls Royce for under $150,000. I don't care what year you get.
Right.
Ferraris under $150,000. I don't care what year you get. Well, Ferraris are, but Lamborghinis is certain cars that's always going to have a certain amount of value. Well, if you get one at the right year, it's easy to generate the capital off of it. It's just a mindset. See, people will trick us into saying, oh, stay at a position of mediocrity and, you know, only invest in assets. And then you go look and say, well, what's assets? What's the assets? Why is the only thing that considered liabilities things that we like? How can we make... Explain that. The things that we like, right? You look at it. People say liabilities, clothes, right? I jump on a private jet, whole family in Fendi. Go, oh, you know, that's a lot of money to spend on clothes, on these designer clothes. I say, well, these clothes last 2 years though. When you wash the clothes that you went and bought from Walmart because you saved a couple bucks on your outfit, one, it don't look as good and it don't feel as good.
For sure.
And it's just reality. It doesn't. But it doesn't last as long either.
Yeah.
It's the reason why Kanye West threw a tantrum and said they won't allow us into their factories because the materials that they use are better than the materials that come on the cheaper materials. It's a difference, right? It's a difference.
Got it.
But then they go, but it's expensive and it's not worth the money. So I teach people, I say, listen, I turn credit to cash. So I run a business and I run ads. I run $50,000 to $60,000 a month in ads. I get 4 points per dollar whenever I run ads. Well, because I'm growing my business, guess what?
You get 4 points per dollar.
Yes.
What do you mean?
On my American Express Gold, they give you 4 points per dollar when you run ads. So
you run the ads using your American Express card.
Boom.
Gotcha.
Then all of my other business expenses, fulfillments and things like that. So if I'm spending, you know, as my business grows, I'm spending over $100,000 a month. Well, if my business is growing, I'm spending $100,000 a month and I'm getting 4 points per dollar, guess what? What do you do with your reward points? Most people don't know. I teach people when they start off how not to pay for groceries and your expenses. Keep your expenses low as you grow your business. But you get to a point to where you start going and you look up and you got 3 million points and you go, what I do? Most people don't know that you can literally convert your reward points to gift cards for like Saks and Neiman's and go shopping. To where I didn't pay for the clothes and the things that they see us in. Because I still like designer clothes, but I got it for free.
I like that. I
can live the life that I want and I don't have to be subjected to being irresponsible. I can drive a Rolls Royce and not be, oh man, you buying a depreciating asset. No, it's gonna make me more money than it cost me.
Right. I got to ask you though, because I've seen you teach it before. I never had a chance to ask you.
Okay.
How do you get these people to live for free? Because I mean, in my logical brain, I'm thinking,
Okay.
we take a credit card and I spend some money. I spend money on the credit card.
Okay.
But I still owe the money on the credit card. So, I just need you to explain it to me.
Okay.
Because I know it's working because everybody on your course. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the reason I set this podcast up is so I can get some free game. You know what I mean?
Clearly.
You know what I mean?
Oh, you went deep too. Oh, you went deep early.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, a little bit, elaborate on the question again, so that way I can answer.
How do you
clearly.
get people? What is the strategy on getting people to not have to pay for their groceries and not have to pay for certain living expenses? Because I've just heard you talk about it before.
Okay, so I know what you're asking.
Don't hold back either. We need the truth and the whole truth.
So listen, right? Is that I tell people is that it's things with credit cards that a lot of people are not aware of, on things that they can do, and loopholes in the system. So one day I'm gonna explain something, and my team is about to kill me for saying this here. I ordered something online, and when I ordered
Using what? Because I'm trying to follow.
using my American Express. Okay,
gotcha.
I'm gonna give you an example like this. I'm gonna give you the one that I say is that there's stores. One time I go to fill my office, I went to Apple. Well, when I went to Apple, I used my American Express card. When I used my Amex in Apple, I go and I went in there and I did it, and it maxed me that day at, I want to say I was at like 21,000, and I put the rest on my debit card. Well, my team goes, we need Windows, you use Apples, but for our compatibility for your team that's going to be doing all the work, Windows is going to be more compatible. I did a refund to my debit card. So when I went back in, I give them my debit card, they do the refund. I don't realize they don't ask me for my credit card. Mm-hmm. When they do the refund, everything comes back into my checking account. I literally spent $800 off my debit, 21,000 on my credit card. The whole 21,800 came back into my debit account. I learned how to liquidate my credit card. I said, yo, I look, and I've been in so many real estate deals. I've been through so many people's real estate programs. They charge you to liquidate, or you go through
100%.
PayPal and you pay 33.5%.
For sure.
Okay, I just got paid to pull my money off my credit card.
And that always works? Apple ain't catch that yet?
Apple is done. So listen, right? Look, Apple is done, right? So I tell people, I said, listen, I've explained Apple before. So Apple is at a position where Apple is done. But
So they don't do it no more?
no, they changed their payment structure.
Gotcha.
Right? We blew that out the water. Mm-hmm. So I tell people is that, but what happened was,
Yeah, I feel like you did that. I feel like
Yeah, I
feel like
I did too.
Apple was looking like, yo, this dude, y'all know what he doing.
Yo.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I learned, once I seen that, it's just my whole goal was that, how do I learn credit cards? Because credit cards are what we would say an asset. I mean, a liability.
Right.
So growing
Because
up,
at the end of the day, you still got 21,000 in debt on your card.
oh no, I pay it right back. I'm not going to use the money.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just paid it back.
So it is just, if you use these strategies, you use the money for whatever you're going to use it for, but pay it back.
You don't use it for any, like in that case, right? What happened was this, you gotta understand the benefits, is that 21,000, the American Express didn't see the refund. So it looked like a spin.
Oh, so you got all the points for it as well.
That's why I said I got paid to liquidate it in reward points.
Interesting.
And then they look and go, wow, he spent 21,000, paid it back in a week and a half. See, that's why I got 150,000 on all three of my platinums. See, I almost got $500,000 on platinum just off of, I have a lot of high spends that get paid back. So my monthly cycle is very high. And so I teach people how to grow and double and triple their limits. Is that it's a lot of different ways that we can do these things. There's ways that you can buy stuff online and just take it back into the store.
Buy stuff online, take it back in the store. Talk to me.
So let's just say, like,
this is legal for my kids that watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's literally like this, right? I'm gonna tell you what the thing is. This is that it's what would I say? It's doing a refund. That's just the whole thing. Is just doing a refund and getting the money back onto you. that's the part where I tell people is that you just have to understand credit cards. You have to understand their systems. But I tell people the goal is not, like, I don't teach people to just go out and do that. That's just something cool we figured out and found out.
Sure.
So that was one of the cool things. But I tell people is that, like, I tell people how to hide their credit card utilization. It's just learning things like that to where we don't pay interest on our credit cards. These are the type of things that we need to know, is that, like, those are the fascinating things, because people charge me to liquidate my credit card. You just told me how to do it for free.
Right.
Literally off, I've seen people go, hey, I don't know you, but you said this, I did it, it worked. I bought my real estate project, and I didn't have to spend going to debt to pay for my home. Yeah. You 3.5% in the negative before you even go do a deal. You imagine that you get funded at $100,000, you got to pull $100,000 off your credit cards. You 3.5 to the negative before you even go anywhere else.
Right.
Plus your monthly reoccurring fee. You get me? That's why people lose. Like, I teach people how to go to where if you were going into real estate and you had $100,000 in funding, when you liquidate, you'll be worth 105, 106. So now you have more capital. You're not going negative before you even get into the investment deal. And a lot of times they get into deals, and if you do get a wrong deal, you don't even know how to get out.
Right. So I got this play that I'm working on. It is a real estate. So I'll share it with you after. But we're about to buy a building, right? And let's just say it's going to be $100,000 in renovations. So I've got a bunch of, because I use like you, I use my credit card and I pay it off. So I have, I got about 100 in credit card balance, right?
Okay.
Zero balance, I can charge it up to about 100.
Okay.
So is there a way to float all this money or use my cards without having to pay all the interest? Is there a way?
One, you can hide your credit card utilization, right?
And if you hide it, then I can get another card. Is that what you're saying?
You can get more cards, but you have to be particular about which cards you go out and get depending on what your situation is. See, I put people in a situation before they get to that point to where they don't have to worry about it.
Let me bring this up just in case. I'm sorry.
So I put people in a position before they get to the point of purchasing to where they're okay, right?
Gotcha.
Because you're going to have, there's different credit card types. You have your credit cards that are standard credit cards, meaning you got a $15,000 limit. This is what you have. You have charge cards. Your charge cards are going to be the cards that are based off of your spending habit, right? So we run our charge card limits up with business to grow our limits to where when it's time to do a deal like that, I need 100,000, I have it access. Okay, meanwhile, I have my standard cards here that have my regular limits, but with these cards, I set up and I add people on as authorized users. Yeah. So I sell trade lines. Well, now if I sell trade lines at $650 and I have 10 spots available, that's $6,500 every cycle.
How long do you keep them on your card?
60 days.
So you add somebody, is this something we can talk about?
Yeah.
Okay, so you add somebody on your trade line for, let's say, $650, and every 2 months, if they want to stay on that.
No. So you add trade lines last. It's once their credit report is together, depending on what they're looking to go do. You add them last. Okay. It's just you have to know the formula. When you add somebody as an authorized user, it's not, oh, you're going to get excellent credit, you're good to go now. No, you structure a report properly. Add the authorized user on to help with the data points. So once it helps with the data points of your age of your credit report, total number of accounts, your credit utilization, you add them on as an authorized user last. Now they go and do what they need to do, establish more new accounts. When the trade line gets removed, those accounts season fill the gap for where the trade lines were.
Got it.
Okay, so I add 10 people on as an authorized user, that's $6,500 every 60 days. If I got 3 cards,
got it.
I'm at 18, almost 20,000 every 60 days. Okay, so in a situation you go, well, I'm gonna go and spend 100,000 on this property. My goal was that get these credit cards together first and get this business flowing. So when you go spend that 100,000, you go, I spend 100,000 here, but I'm not spending my 100,000. Guess what? American Express. Guess what? Barclays. The trade lines that I'm selling on these ones, pay that card back. So now I'm not out of pocket.
Got it.
Shout out to the banks for buying my house. That's right. I really leverage other people's money in real time to acquire assets.
That's deep.
Now I own this property free and clear because I bought it with cash off of my charge card, credit card, or a business credit card with 0% APR that don't show on my personal credit report. But now my trade line business is going, that's going to pay that money back. So in the meantime, I sit back. Even the rents that come off of that property, I just collect and sit to the side. That's mine.
I love it.
My whole goal is that anything that I touch is for my kids. If I own something and I touch it, that money that come off of it is for my kids. I'm not refining and paying it back. My daughter gonna need that eventually. I'm not going into debt. I'm not passing them that. My whole goal is to be able to pass them wealth at all means. And that's the thing, is when I said our mindset is the only liability we got if we don't make our mindset into an asset. If you don't have a asset-driven mindset, you lose. You let people say, don't do this and don't do that. I find a way to do everything.
I like it. All right, so one, I want to know how you acquired this information. Like, where'd you get it from? But side note, how many of those suits you got? Because I know you don't wear the same suit, unless you got like a closet full of them like Batman. Because you always got the blue suit on. And then I'm thinking, okay, you got the blue rolls out there. And I'm like, okay, well, blue is this color. It got to be just okay. Walk me through this blue situation you got going on.
You just called me out for wearing the same suit. Listen,
yeah, I know you like Batman, bro. You just got a closet full of them joints.
Literally, right? What I did was, it was an accident. So I went to go and get a suit. I had a speaking engagement. BYOB with Drew, right?
Yep. Shout out to Drew.
Yeah, shout out to Drew, right? My first ever speaking engagement at that. Double shout out to Drew. Listen, right? So I get on the stage with Drew. So I go. It's my first speaking engagement. I don't know what to do. I said, you know what? Everything has to be statement. You have to murder to make yourself a staple. Murder when you get on the stage. Cool. So I go suit shopping. And what sticks out the loudest? Blue. Say blue suit, white shirt, red tie. Sticks out. Boom. I go, okay. And I questioned it. And I said, and I asked Instagram, do I go with the navy power suit or do I go with the blue? They was like, ooh, that blue loud. Go with the blue. I said, cool, I'm not doing what y'all said. So I'm going with the blue. Right? Went with it. Everybody remembered me from the suit. So I said, okay, whenever I speak, I'm wearing the suit. Hindsight, it's recession proof blue. Right. So this is the color. This is my logo color.
So the suit came first. What came first, the logo or the suit? Chicken or the egg?
The logo came first.
Okay.
So the logo came first, right? No, I'm lying. The suit came first because I didn't even, recession proof wasn't a name yet when I did BYOB. It's not on the suit came before the logo. So the logo came and it was either orange or blue. You know the meanings behind the colors. And I go, okay, do I want to do orange or do I want to do blue? And it's funny looking at us talk. I went with blue. So, and then it kind of combined now to the point to where people always ask me for my shirts. And I said, the shirts are earned.
What do you mean?
My recession proof shirts, you can't buy. You have to earn them. You have to be a part of our community. This is not something you can walk around and put on your back if you're not a part of this and understand how we think.
When I printed your shirts, I should have just kept one.
You should have. You should have. You definitely should have, right? Because they're not for sale.
Right.
But I say, you know what we're going to do is that we talk about luxury brands and we talk about the things that we don't invest in. And I said, being as a person who promotes luxury things, I'm not going to start and sell t-shirts. I'm going to make suits.
So you sell those suits?
You the one who's been, yeah. So now I'm selling these suits, right? So
and nobody, how long have you been selling suits? What? Hold on.
This is coming now. So I haven't even told anybody. That's why, I haven't even told anybody that I'm gonna start selling them. So now I purposely wear them everywhere I go. Whenever I'm getting on the camera, something big, I got my recession-proof blue suit.
Gotcha. So, see, we pulled it out. We pulled it out. Man.
So that's what we go have. So now we got suits for sale. And it's just a staple suit. One that when you present, when you catching attention, something that means something, it's gonna be a staple that. It's something that when you speak, people won't forget the dude in the blue suit.
Are you only going to be selling blue suits?
Only blue.
That's hard.
This is the only color. This is it.
That's hard. You got to get your own color like Cameron.
Yeah. So this is it. So this will be the only suit available. It'll be fully lined with white and recession proof blue on the inside. So
that's hard.
That's gonna be it.
That's hard. All right. So if y'all see me, I'm doing orange suits. I'm gonna try to launch it. I'm not even putting this podcast out. Okay. I'm gonna get my suit line first. All right. All right. So let's walk me back. Walk me back to where you grow up, man.
Stockton, California.
Stockton, California. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your childhood, like your family, mom and dad.
Mom.
Just mom.
Mom. Typical street baby.
That's crazy that's typical.
Right. It was typical, but it's not anymore. See,
it kind of like when I asked the question, like mom and dad, you're like, no, mom, like almost like
it's natural.
Who has a father?
You're right. Listen, that's so bad, yo.
Who has a dad? But the crazy thing is, if you like poll a bunch of people just in our environment, it's like, yo, it was just mom. And I don't think maybe it's not just a African American thing. Maybe it's just a people thing. I mean, marriage just doesn't work out 50% of the time, right?
I take it as a community. I think it's an African American thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's an African American thing because in the 80s, where a lot of us were born in our generation now, is drugs hit. So we dealt with cocaine, we dealt with, then we dealt with mass incarceration. So that's where a lot of us don't have fathers. It wasn't that a lot of our fathers weren't present, they dealt with drug abuse. Then if they weren't using, they were selling. Right. So a lot of our family and a lot of the men got ripped out of our homes, so it's so easy for us to say, nah, I was raised by my mother.
That's real.
But this generation of our children, it isn't. Yeah. Because now we hear.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's like a cool thing to be a father.
We hear. I don't know one of my friends who's not a father. When you look out, I witnessed Jeremy Anderson. You look at Mr. 2 Weeks Out. Right? Right? Fathers, we're all in our children's life. We raise our kids. So when we look at our generation now, it's cool to be that. It's like you almost going to get castrated. You can't really come around if you really don't take care of your kids. Like you got kids and you don't.
Yeah, you got to create that culture, bro.
Like
you got to create that culture. Almost like entrepreneurship in our circle. You feel me? Like you can't say we're all hanging out and it's just somebody complaining about their job or complaining about. You'll look at them like, who brought him?
Yeah, like it's almost uncomfortable, right? Or it's gonna be uncomfortable for you to say, "Oh, y'all going? I gotta go to work. I'm not gonna be able to make it at that time." Or I gotta imagine this. Yo, Dave, I'm not gonna be able to make the podcast. I don't got the PTO right now. It's almost like an uncomfortable thing to where it's like, what we really supposed to? You don't got PTO? You gotta ask somebody to come outside?
Yeah, you gotta create that environment where it's uncomfortable, man. I remember being in that environment. I think I was complaining one time around one of my mentors, and he said, "What are you talking about? Well, you gotta go, bro." I'm like, yo, I'm just like letting it out. I'm just complaining about kind of the things that are going on, and I'm thinking my mentor understands. He's like, yo, what are you doing? Yeah, we don't do that here.
And when you make that cool, that's different. But back to where we was at.
So
the childhood. I'm one of the kids that I was the baby, the most entitled, and the problem child. So I always lived my life on my terms, good or bad. I accepted it, and I lived my life on my terms. But I know as a child, I experienced a lot of traumas. So like my best friend at 9 years old, he was 9, I was 8, drowned. So we literally out playing the community center. What am I doing out at an 8-year-old kid, right? What are we doing out by ourselves at a community center?
That wasn't as bad back then.
With a creek, right? Full levee. Yeah, but we end up on the rocks. He slips in, drowns. It was 3 of us.
3 of them.
He slips in, drowns. Body disappears. Mud. Couldn't get out. Disappears.
Wow. Nobody jumped in? Well, what's going on? Were you like just in shock? Like this what's happening right here?
I'm standing at the top of the hill, right? Going down. We ain't supposed to be down there. I'm one of them ones that goes, I'm a watch from here. right. And so, but no. And that's the thing is that
That's hard to witness as that 8-year-old.
Yo, listen. So, that's something that I still see, even with his burial, even with his funeral. You see these things. And it's just as a kid growing up in these environments, I remember the first time I ever seen somebody physically die, I was 11. They wrecked with a DUI outside of a community party, doing donuts, car wreck. Remember the buggies had the motor in the back? Mm-hmm. So they had the engine in the back. Well, they couldn't get out the back seat. The engine caught fire. And you see a grown man jumping around screaming as the car is burning, and you just see him just melt. And that's what I look at. So I see things like when I grew up in my environment, the environment sometimes that we grow up in are detrimental to our upbringing because a lot of us get stuck in that trauma.
Right. Were you in like a rough part of town, like the hood area, or was it?
Yeah. I grew up in one of only 2 projects in my city.
Really?
Yeah. So I grew up in Conway housing, and so it's only Conway and Sierra Vista is the only world housing projects that we have.
Gotcha.
And so I grew up in those.
What did you want to be as a kid? Clearly not an entrepreneur that teaches people how to turn the credit into cash, right?
Right?
Like, nobody thinks about that.
But I knew, like, I'm one of the honest dudes with myself. Sports wasn't it for me. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't my way out. Right. So I wasn't one of the dudes that was like, yeah, I'm going to play football. Like, no, I'm not playing this. Right. Then I played basketball, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this either.
Right.
I got to figure something out.
Right.
But that was the part, and that's when I started, like, I seen people play football, and I seen how many people lost. Like, that's a loss. Like, you played for X amount of years, and now they come home at 27, 28. They didn't make it. They went and tried to do arena football for years, and they get spun in the laundry, and now they like personal trainers. No offense, shout out to personal trainers, right?
Just I missed 2 weeks out.
Yeah, shout out to 2 weeks out, right? But, and it's like you had goals to make millions.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like a thing, and I go, nah, I'm not going that route. I started early on, 16, me and my best friend, we started like selling cars. Mm-hmm. So we would go to the auction early, right?
How old were you?
16.
Really?
So I got my license at 16. We would go to auctions, right? My older friend was 18. So we would go to the auction. We take the 18-year-old with us. We drive to the auction, and we go buy cars for like $300. Our goal was that, yeah, man, we go get them, we clean them up, and whatever we got to fix, we fix, get it out. So we would go buy a car for like $300. Then we would go try to clean the interior up, go to Pick and Pull if we need body parts, which is like an auto dismantler.
Right.
Put new parts on there, whatever we needed, get some mechanics out the neighborhood, do this, and we would sell the car for more. So we taking $300 cars, $400 cars, making $800 or $1,200. So we're like, okay, this is life. So at 16, 17, I got $2,000-$3,000 in my pocket. Like, I'm balling.
Right.
One of my friends was real good with money. I'm the one who spends. One of my friends was real good with money. By the time he turned 21, he saved $10,000 every year from 16. So when he turned 21, he had 50 grand.
Wow.
He was good.
Wow.
My
What's
mom,
he doing now?
So the roadblock, right? There's no shade, is that my mom stopped me. And she said, look at your hands. And she said, I'm not raising you to be a poor hustler. And I'm like, I remember I was like 19. I still was playing. I had got my real estate license at 18. And for some reason, I went and got a car. And she was just like, I remember, I'll never forget it. She said, I'm not raising you to be a poor hustler. I said, what you mean? Look at your hands. That's what you want to look like? So I go, okay.
When you say look at your hands, what do you mean?
They were dirty. Switching car parts out.
Oh.
I'm covered in oil. So, I'm filthy, but it was fun. I'm thinking, I'm making my own money. And she goes, I'm not raising you to be a poor hustler. Literally said that. I cut it. Real estate license at 18. I went another route. I started wearing suits. Wow. I understood. Then I got with a realtor, a broker, who wore suits, and I got to see what a black man, looked like respectfully.
Wow, this is like your first example of
a man.
Of a man.
So.
Wow.
I've never.
There's no other men in your life throughout this process? No uncles, no.
I had uncles, but they all love my community. They all love my community.
Now let me ask you this: as a child, you didn't at least recognize them as men because those are the only adult males that you saw. Like you didn't look at him like, oh, that's a man right there. But when you see this successful, was he black?
Yeah, he was black.
Seeing a successful suited black man, you like, yo, that's a real man.
I seen it. The difference was is that I seen somebody who can go in the room and be respected. People from our community, for some reason, my uncles and the people that was before me were fearful, couldn't speak to other races. They couldn't go comfortably in the banks and speak as comfortably and confident as they did when we was at home, kicking a breeze, talking about each other. When we go out in public, I seen a different demise of men. It wasn't the same person. And that always stood out to me. And I remember one of my uncles was like, just don't, I get uncomfortable talking to white people.
Dang.
So when I see this guy owns businesses, owns homes, and we go into banks and they stand up and salute him when he walk in, I go, man, this is 2 blocks from where I grew up at. I didn't even know this was possible.
Wow.
So,
I think it's important. It's very, very important, especially for people that's watching now, or especially for a single mother raising men. That it's very important to put them around and do whatever you have to do to at least let them see that as early as possible.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes. That changed my life. You asked me, what is my other friend doing now?
Yeah.
He cuts grass and hauls junk.
Because he didn't get the advice from your mom, I don't want you to be
a poor hustler.
A poor hustler.
Does he own, is he poor? No. Owns properties. Still owns houses outright.
Right.
But on a daily basis is.
So you can get stuck in the process of, I go work, make money, work, make money, work, make money. But it just so happened as an earlier age, you got exposed to, how can I work without getting my hands dirty? Boom. That's different.
Boom.
That's different.
And it was just to use my mind.
Yeah.
To put me in a different ballpark. So putting me in real estate is what led me into credit. And I look back and I go, literally when I started my credit repair business, I literally went and got the documents out of my file cabinet that I did at his business. That put me in this position.
Yeah.
That's where I go and I look at today. When I look back, I go, your mindset is everything, and sometimes it's the environments that you get in and the people that have an effect on you that you don't really realize. I can make this judgment now looking back. I didn't see that then. I see it now. When I go, cool, I like to wear suits, but now I learn and I go, I can still be myself. I can still go out on the weekends and get dressed and go hang out with my friends in regular clothes and wear jewelry. I could have wore a t-shirt now and wear what I wanted to wear and still be me. I'm sitting here in a suit, you sitting here jeans, sneakers, baseball cap, and a t-shirt. We're both successful fathers and entrepreneurs and leaders in our community. People watching this, kids that's watching this, mothers that's watching this, your children need to see this. That we can sometimes we wear this and learn what it feels like.
You pull it off better than anybody else, I believe, man, because like, let's just say, so I wear this on a regular basis. When I wear a suit, people are like, oh, okay, I see you. Okay, got the suit on today, you fly, right? But when people see you, whether you're in like dressed down or a suit, people are like, oh, 7500. Right? So even, let's say, just my boy, Mr. 2 Weeks Out, he's normally dressed down. If you see him in a suit, it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. Right? So I think you pull it off the best, because there's some people that wear suits all the time, and when they dress down, they're like, what are you doing?
Who's this guy?
Right. Nah, that's awesome. So, but for the person that you are today, in terms of, you know, having these like just huge months and success in business, but this wasn't your first venture. I mean, so we're buying cars, fixing them up, getting the real estate. How long was the real estate journey?
I got into real estate, graduated 2006.
High school.
Yeah. You familiar with real estate?
Yeah, I have my license. No far.
Okay, so you understand what happened.
Yeah.
It was excellent when I got in.
For sure.
Oh, I was speaking at churches.
Good. Yeah.
I was speaking at churches. They like, yo, this kid's amazing. He's 18, got a real estate license. I say, yo, by the time I'm 30, I'll be retired. I'm out of here. What? $14,000 check? $12,000 check? I had a 2006 Dodge Charger in 2006. I went and got an Escalade.
Yeah.
Oh, life is great.
12 months later.
Oh.
One day you wake up, the world is different.
People are coming in, right? I'm gonna tell the truth, right? People are coming in now, and my broker goes, we're gonna have to do loan modifications, right? He starts crushing it with the loan mods now. He's crushing it too. But I'm getting chewed out because I'm seeing people lose their homes that I just sold homes. It's like, mortgage was this, it's now this. What do we do?
Oh, loan modification, meaning you sell me a home and then your company changes my loan?
No, they were doing like basically taking it to banks to rearrange people's loans, to do like kind of refis and depending on what part you were at to get you out of that adjustable rate.
Right.
Getting people out of it. But you charging people to get them out of the bad loan you put them in.
Yikes.
I moved to Atlanta.
Why'd you move to Atlanta?
I wasn't making no money.
Right.
It was over. It was.
And did you see Atlanta as an opportunity to sell more real estate, or it's just a different opportunity?
It was a different opportunity. I met some people that was doing network marketing, your travel biz, YTB. Okay. That was my first ever.
Did you get a bag in YTB?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Absolutely not.
You remember Spencer Iverson? So I think Spencer was killing it.
I was under a guy named Keith out of Macon. No, I didn't. But I got inspired, right?
Right.
I remember going to St. Louis and I seen these regular people who weren't celebrities standing on a stage that packed out the whole St. Louis arena. And I told my mom, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be able to pack an arena out to respect me when I come out and do something. Right. So that's been my goal. I remember seeing that. I didn't know that. As I fast forward now and I go, only way you'll be able to do that is if you can positively impact people's lives. So you have to get into a position to where you can impact as many people as possible. So when I look at it now and I look at my business model, my whole goal is if you want to be successful, you'll only be as successful as the amount of people you help become successful. I have to make massive impact positively on people's lives. Gotcha. The more amount of people I can positively affect, more successful I'll be, and the closer to going, look at, I can now put and go, look at how many people I've been able to positively impact.
For sure, for sure.
That's now my goal, and it's been my goal for the last few years, is how do I grow my impact? I started out with financial literacy and credit coaching and things like that because I wanted to help people. I've helped fathers get funded to get their daughter's heart surgery. That kind of impact. People who kids are getting taken and put into child protective services, and we're helping them purchase homes or helping them get into adequate living situations, not understanding that they can finance furniture to have their home properly furnished and having everything there. That kind of impact. Then I go, I can only do so much. This is getting beyond me. I have more clients than I can have staff.
Right. Okay. So we fast forward. So you're a YTB not making no money. But how do you get into helping people with their credit?
I started working, I went through transitions, different businesses. Atlanta. I got introduced to Atlanta. You know, anybody get introduced to Atlanta, you get introduced to get outside and go. So I got outside and I went. I'm on Craigslist. I'm doing cell phone repair. I go into.
So you got into cell phone repair after the YTB fiasco.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, fiasco at that, right? So I remember, even with YTB, I was like Marietta the flea market in Marietta. I went in there and bought Air Force Ones by the caseload from China, and I would drive around and deliver those.
Right? I was in that game.
Right, so you know we doing that. So I did that. Ended up into the cell phones. I started figuring that out. I go through the cell phone. Spend for about a year and a half, 2 years. That did really well when eBay was going on, buying screens from China, fixing them, right? Ended up opening the Boost Mobile. That crashed on us. I lost everything. I literally I moved in with my sister. Lost everything. Not only did I lose my business, I had a relationship break. Bomb. Everything.
Why did the Boost Mobile business crash, you think?
Not being prepared. Not having the financial background, not understanding financial literacy, right? So, and the several things, mindset, right? Then I take a step back. Is that, remember I said in high school I sold cars. Well, it was 3 of us that hung together. One that still is there. The other one came to Atlanta.
Right.
We lived here together. I've never told this story. He committed suicide. So I'm living here.
Do you know what happened?
Money. You understand that we come out of poverty-stricken environments, right? So we start making money.
Through the store? No,
we're making money, cars.
Gotcha.
He owned a landscaping company, right? So his landscaping company was doing about $10,000 a month. We moved here, he thought he can just come and operate it here. California, if you buy a car, you keep the license plate till the tags expire. In Georgia, they take the license plate. We didn't know. He literally spends 15, 16 grand on a van, already pre-built out. He doesn't have license, can't get license. So he buys the van, it got the tag on it, he thought it was good for almost a year. So he buys the van, 2 days later he gets pulled over in Georgia, they take you to jail.
For sure.
He went to jail, had to bail him out, 16 grand gone, out of there, it's nothing to do.
Oh, because he can't get the car out of impound if you don't have insurance, and you can't get insurance without a license.
Gone. Run into going through that, trying to figure it out. But as men, pride, ego, young boys, doesn't say I'm struggling. Never says I can't pay rent. Decides to just up and leave a day before rent is due. Disappear. Going back in about, I want to say, a month and a half, we communicated a little bit, but kind of find out he was like sleeping on the MARTA and at the airport.
Wow.
Not wanting to say what was going on.
So he didn't even go back home to California. He just.
Nah, I thought he left. I didn't know he was here. Lindbergh, he committed suicide. Laid on the train tracks at Lindbergh. Committed suicide early morning. Cold December 15th. So, you know.
How does all that affect you, man? Because these are people that you see point blank. Because I've had people pass away, but not in front of me.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone die. Like my dad passed away, but it wasn't in front of me. Or like I don't have any situations where my cousin he died, he got shot, but it wasn't in front of me. Like you're seeing this stuff like in really, really close proximity to you. So close friends, like seeing it unfold.
That was the most traumatic time, because at that point what happens is that I go into a depression mode because this is all I got. So it's like, yo, this is my iron sharpen iron. He thinks 10 steps ahead of me before I can bust my move. He's calling out my next plays. This my guy. So at that point, I'm like, yo, I'm by myself.
Wow.
Coming back from the funeral, I come back home, and I just remember looking out the window, literally listening to Nipsey Hussle and going, just get it by any means necessary, put it on the line. That's what I did. I just put it on the line, but I look at it and I go, I lost my best friend because of nobody taught us money. We learned how to make money, but nobody taught us what to do. We had nobody to look to and go, what do we do with our money? We got 10, 15,000 sitting, and eventually we just blow it off and spend it off and take L's and nobody's teaching us. So that's why financial literacy is so important to me as well, is that I fail at another business and I go, I have to learn money. Get into, and I go, my whole thing is that when I fell on those times, when the Boost Mobile, he passed, Boost Mobile store Boost Mobile store launch, I'm going through depression, lose relationship, lose the Boost Mobile store. I fall on hard times, I went and started working at a warehouse.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
You go from all that to working at a warehouse. That's humbling.
I go from...
There's nothing worse. It's bad to be down, but nothing worse than to go up and then come down.
Yo.
That's tough.
I go from living in a condo in Alpharetta, driving a G-Class Benz truck, AMG, to a 1996 Mercury Cougar, working at a warehouse, living in my sister's house with 5 kids. At the time, she had 5 kids in a 3-bedroom. 4-bedroom. I made it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I made the living uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a bedroom set. I had an air bed. The Mercury Cougar, the door didn't open from the inside. I had to open it from the outside. Listen to me. That's when I said, and I knew it looking back, yo, you finna get the bar. I was going through depression and didn't know it. You know how I found out? I'm working at a warehouse and I go, why am I here? Once again, I'm poor hustling. They were gonna fire me. I needed to make it to Christmas because we get Christmas bonus. It's like a $2,000 check, right? I said, how do I do it? Thinking, I go and I call. I know the next day they're gonna fire me. So I call psychiatric hospitals to have insurance and say, I'm thinking about hurting somebody. They go, are you thinking about hurting yourself? I go, no, I'm thinking about hurting my manager. So they go, okay, let's come in for a psych evaluation. I go, what happened? I go, yo, listen, I'm just randomly crying, having outbreaks, real emotional, and it's just like, I don't know why it's always him as a person, like when I'm dreaming, it's him that I'm seeing on myself punching and like physically attacking. I don't know what it is. They was like, well, what kind of hours you working? I'm working 60 hours a week. Boom, boom, boom. She take me off work that day. They were gonna fire me that night. But I've talked myself so much into this story to get out of work. They made me go to counseling. So,
that's funny.
In counseling, I find my depression.
Wow.
Of what I was going through, where I was at, mind state, what I didn't deal with.
What did you find out about yourself through counseling?
Through the traumas that I was living through, I've never dealt with them. I was uncomfortable even talking about my best friend. Like, I made it to where it didn't exist. So they taught me, and I remember she was like giving me different exercises, and she had to make me comfortable even speaking and acknowledging what happened, things that happened. It's okay. It's part of life. That I had to cope with that, with the fact that that relationship I had is gone. So after that,
she had to deal with it head on.
Boom.
Wow.
So then I realized, it took me a little while, I went back, and when I went back to that job, it kicked in and said, why are you even here? I got the bonus. Got the Christmas bonus. I came back a week before. I got the bonus, right? Listen, they were upset, right? Shout out to ABW out there in Kennesaw. Yeah, I got the check, right? I went and I said, why am I even here? I went and applied for Wells Fargo. I became a personal banker.
Gotcha. From warehouse, personal banker.
Got back in my suit.
Got it. Right.
So,
back to the old you.
So I got back in my suit. Yeah. So I got back in the suit. And that's when I started learning banking products. I started learning that people couldn't get approved for business loans. They couldn't get approved for loans at all. Like the ratio for people who get loans, I was giving loans to people who I would look and they would have like a $2 million mortgage.
What?
Yeah, they would have a $2 million mortgage. They can come and get a loan. Oh, you got 200,000? Yeah, nah, you can't get nothing.
Hold on, a $2 million mortgage?
Yeah, no, listen, I was working in Roswell, Wells Fargo, all right? People will come in, they have $2 million mortgages. They will be able to come in and go, you're looking for a personal loan. They can come and get them 100, 200,000. But I'm looking at the relationship with Wells Fargo. I go, you got a baseball team over here? You got this, you got all of this portfolio is crazy. They'll give you the money.
In my head is, what do you need? Why do you need $100,000 if your mortgage is $2 million and you got a baseball team? Like,
no, listen. You know, like his house is worth $2 million, so they took $2 million out, mortgaged the home. But then, you know, the charity.
Oh, you're saying
now he pays $2 million a month.
Bro,
No,
I'm thinking.
no. I'm like, yo, wait a minute. This
is
reaction is crazy. I'm like, wait, $2 million on a mortgage. You know, people get $2 million homes all the time. So
in my head, I'm like, yo, who are these humans?
No.
$2 million a month and need $100,000.
No. So they got a $2 million mortgage.
Gotcha.
And so his home is worth $2 million. That's what he took the mortgage for. But I'm looking and I go, they can get what they want, but we can't.
Right.
There's a disconnect here. And so I started helping people with their credit. So I would, outside of work, I would do my thing, and they still couldn't get the loan.
Oh, so you were helping them with their credit?
Yeah.
To get the loan. Got it.
They still couldn't get the loan. so
You'd have been a scammer. You'd have been called a scammer.
Right. Listen to me.
I don't know if that word existed back then, but
yo, listen. Right, it's like so big now. It's
right.
crazy. But I said, I can get you a credit card and it will go through. My problem was these loans looked so good at 2.6% and 3.1%, and these credit cards look so bad at 17%, 21%. They're going to give you this because of what they're going to charge you and make off of you. I get it. You're not established enough for me to trust you on this scale. I get it. But how do we win and get to the next level if you take 20% of what I make? Right. So that's when I said it became a conflict of the church and government.
Gotcha.
I had to leave because I'm coming for y'all now. Now I'm not working for the bank for this check. I make $32,000 a year. This is not gonna cut anyways. I don't care. So I'm like, no, I started making more money with credit repair than I did here.
Right.
I'm out of here. But I just was afraid to go back into business, being out of it, working in the warehouse, doing that running that fiasco. Now I'm working at a Wells Fargo that got me into this mindset, and I'm going, I would never buy a home though, because I didn't want to be tied to the job.
Gotcha.
But then I was scared to kind of get back out there in the business, and I go and I started learning credit. So the credit repair took off, and then I said, okay, let me master my credit so I can secure myself for when I go into business. When things get hard, I now have foundation or something to fall back on.
Yeah.
That was my only goal. So I started learning how to get credit. My goal is that I don't like paying people to do things for me. So I would go to people's seminars and I would say, how do you get funded? And I would ask the question of like, they would break it down. We can get you funded for this amount. And I would say, well, what banks do you apply for in what order?
Right.
Oh, you asking too many questions. And I go, okay, either you don't have it, the answer, or that's what you make the money off of. So that's what I went and figured out. I went and figured out how to fund myself. That's why I created how to get 15 credit cards with only 4 to 5 inquiries. I figured it out myself. Y'all won't tell me? I figure it out myself. Come to find out, most people who offer funding go through a second party. Somebody else does the funding, they just stand there and talk. I do it myself. I get on the computer and do my applications.
Gotcha.
I break my sequence down and make it make sense. I know how to do
When
it.
you say you break your sequence down and make it make sense, what do you mean?
So most people don't know that certain banks do inquiries, they do their verifying up front. So if you take a Barclays, if you ever have a Barclays credit card, it takes you a few days to get your approval. Why? Underwriting's looking at it, making it make sense. If you go with Chase or B of A, not B of A, but let's use Amex. Amex will hit you with a financial review randomly a year later. Why? they're going to come back and go, send us your tax returns to make sure what you put on this application matches. Now we're going to do a soft pull, verify your report. But we gave you the approval instantly. Chase is the same way. Chase will come back and do a soft pull. So word to the wise, anybody that's listening, Chase does soft pulls. If you have a Chase credit card and your utilization rate shoots up on your other credit cards, don't use Chase because your score drops and your report drops. If your report drops, leave Chase credit card alone. If you start using it abruptly, they go do a soft pull and see where your report is at. I had a student who had a $36,000 Chase card. Her utilization shot, her score dropped some, and Chase dropped her from 36,000 to 4,000. She ran an Amazon business. She was doing her fulfillment with this credit card. Life stops now.
Yeah.
Oh, this what you was making money? Oh no, life over.
Damn.
Because you weren't aware of the rules. And I tell you, you have to know which credit cards to use and when. Know if your credit drops, leave certain cards alone, because then they'll come and revoke the limit. And that's when I say, okay, I built out who's going to give me what. They're going to verify on the backside. So I know, okay, we can get these cards, what we can do with them, how we can utilize them to our advantage. I know we're going to use these ones because they're going to verify up front, but they're not coming back doing soft pulls later. We made it.
Right.
We got it. Okay, cool. We out of here. These are the things that I educate people on, because we have to know how to use these credit cards.
Yeah, how to play the game.
They told us, you know what they told us? Credit cards are only for what? Credit is to buy a house, get a car, and you get a credit card, and you only put gas on it. Right. You only put gas on it. 30% utilization didn't even apply growing up. It was just put gas on it, pay it off, keep it for security purposes only, emergencies only. That's out of the window now.
Yeah.
We live off of this.
Yeah.
I make doctor money off having good credit.
That's very interesting.
That's why I didn't get into another business. It became my business.
Right.
I started learning credit, and I go, everybody's scared of it. Why? People started talking and teaching, but they still teach out of fear. I see other leaders who talk about credit still teach out of fear of what not to do and how to kind of, and it's like, yo, why do we have this fear mindset of something we all are granted access to? Everybody born is granted access to credit. Why would I be scared of it?
Yeah. Why? Explain the difference between what you teach what do you teach your students about debt? And the second part is, do you float a lot of debt yourself?
So, debt. That's
I guess you're at a point where you're making more money, but
no, debt. That's the issue of why we leverage credit, right? If I can leverage credit to eliminate my debt, we won't have any. See, if I can make money off of credit cards, when do I go into debt?
Make money off of credit cards.
Remember, I told you, you can sell trade lines.
Yeah.
Okay, if you got a credit card in your pocket and it makes you $6,500 every 60 days, when do you go into debt? Because that's realistically what people make, $3,500 a month.
Though.
Yeah, it's legal. You have to know, this is the point, right, where I tell people, is that certain banks, they will tell you, frown upon it. They do. You have to know which institutions allow you to operate. That's the fear part.
The
People
rules
won't.
of the game.
People don't investigate. They go, oh yeah, you can Google it. People Google it. Are trade lines illegal? No. You're going to get somebody say they're frowned upon, or certain banks prohibit the sale of this. They do. You have to know and research the banks that are out here. People think that, oh yeah, what banks do exist? And they go and they look at American Express. American Express doesn't report history. People don't know the rules of the credit cards.
American Express doesn't report history?
No. So if I added you to my American Express credit card, you won't get the history of it. But they'll give me 99 authorized users.
They won't report the business or the person? Because I got some people on my personal and it raised their score, like my family, my mom.
Yeah.
Like that.
It helped their score because it added a positive account. It helped with their utilization. It helped with
history.
Yeah, and it helped with a limit what you put them on. So especially if they don't have credit cards, it definitely shoots them up.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't give them how long you had it. If you look at it, the start date was the date you added it.
Yeah.
Other credit cards, they'll give you the history.
Oh, I get it. So they won't assume my history. They'll be able to get the card and start building their own history.
Yes.
But they won't get mine. Got
Yes.
it. Oh, okay. That
You got
makes
me?
sense. That makes sense. Wow, that's deep. Okay.
That's the
So can I
part.
do it? You gonna put me on?
Most definitely.
Okay. You know some people that need some trade lines? Because I got some clear cards.
They're gonna contact you. I'm gonna tell you.
But why shouldn't I though? Like, because somebody's like, yo, you shouldn't do that because of the person. Obviously, they don't get a card. You don't give them a card. But
No.
is there any reason?
Fear. Somebody put
Just
fear
fear.
into you.
Somebody
They said, you can't do it or don't do it because of this, right? And the only thing you could think of, what if somebody gets access to my credit cards, right?
I'm a statistic.
What if somebody get access to my credit cards? You think about this, right? Is that, how many safety alerts do you have for your credit card?
I got a few, yeah.
Okay, do you have your push notifications on?
Yeah, when somebody.
See, listen, I tell people this, is that, one, all my credit card alerts and my credit cards go to an email, specifically for my credit cards. It's the only push notification that's gonna pop up is credit card alerts.
Right.
Transactions, things that happen. It's the only thing that's gonna pop on my screen from my emails. Most people don't think to monitor, but people don't get access to it. Then reverse engineer it. Hey Dave, you give me $650, I'm gonna add you to my credit card to help you build your credit. Hey, Dave tried to access my credit card and just gave me $650 for trying to access it because now I blocked him and took him off and now he has no purpose. What's Dave? Dave, how much money will Dave have to spend to try to go out and capitalize off of somebody else versus understanding that I can get my own credit card and capitalize off myself? I've been in this business over 3 years. I've never had anybody compromise a credit card.
All right, y'all. Y'all see what it is, okay? I got you, okay? Pull up. That's so dope, man. That's dope. So one, I want to say thank you for educating our community, because when I see the boxes, it's not just all black, but it'd be a lot of us. You know what I mean? Like, so that's very, very important. Give me a testimonial. Give me 2 testimonials from your students.
From my students, I got
First
one.
off, how many students you got?
Right now, we're pushing a little over 500 in the mentorship, and about 1,000 in my financial literacy course.
Dang, that's dope. And oh yeah, so I was going to tell them about the morning meetup. Can we talk?
Okay, we can. We definitely can.
So so we got the. I have a morning meetup where I'm literally on a call every single morning teaching entrepreneurship. It's really a strong community. We're hovering around 90-something people every single morning from all across the country. People that want to start their business. They need a community of people. Like it's a whole built-in audience. And we talk literally every morning. We like a family. And Marcus called me. He was like, "Yo, I want to add." And this wasn't even. He didn't call me like, "Yo, Dave, I need an affiliate link." Like, "Yo, I want to sell your course." He was like, "Yo, how much would it be for me to just add my students to your morning meetup?" And I thought that was big. I told my wife, like, "Yo, this is a real stand-up guy. Like, I just want to add value to my community.
Yeah.
They don't got to pay no extra money." He said, "I'm paying for my students," which I thought was really, really dope, man.
I appreciate it. So, and the reason being is that mindset is everything. To operate boldly, to be out here, and it takes daily reassurance. I realize me as one person, I see how much we interact in the Facebook group, how much we interact in our Instagram groups, and it's just that daily interacting. So when I seen what you do with Sleepless Nights, I go, it's amazing to have somebody that's willing to wake up every morning and give an hour of time, that reassurance to get your day started.
For sure.
Get that day started, keep it on your mind, and it keeps us motivated to go out and execute, right?
Yeah.
Go out and kill something. If you want to be successful, I'm going to tell you now, you got to kill something every day. And as brutal as it sounds, you have to do it every day. You don't get days off. I don't care what day it is. I don't care if it's a holiday. I don't care. You have to execute and win that day. And I delivered a message and I went live and I talked about that. And they went crazy. And I go, listen, you got to kill something every day. And I go, man, my man David Shands kills something every day. Every day he wakes up and kills a call for his people to motivate them to go out and kill something every day. I don't want to do that for my community. I want to add somebody who already does it naturally, so that way that gets added to my community as something that's already in you that goes out and kills. You already do it.
That's awesome.
I don't want to duplicate what somebody else does. No. Let's add and bring it together. Collaboration over competition. Let's strengthen our communities and bring everybody together into one.
That's so dope. That's
we
so
all
dope,
build.
Man. I definitely appreciate just being able to say, like, I'm in business, because then you can let me drop your rose one day. Just throw that in there.
Listen,
I saw Rick Ross posted you on his page. Okay, what was that about? Y'all ain't let us behind the scenes, but I'm like, Rose, and it wasn't like Marcus was in there like, yo, I'm here with Rick Ross. Yeah. Rick Ross like posted like, yeah, we out here getting to it. I'm like, what's going on over there?
He said, stay tuned, right? So, the goal is that, and this goes for anybody, is that my whole positioning is, remember I told you, impact. How can I be as impactful as possible? Somebody asked me, well, what's next? If you're gonna stop mentoring people, what's next? I said, listen, the reason why I will stop mentoring people and the level of me personally is because I can only reach so many people now. See, when I did my service and I did a done for you service, I could only affect so many people to where it got bigger than me. Yeah. I had to start teaching people to do it themselves. Now I'm at a point to where I'm teaching people how to help other people do it and help other people. Now I have to get to a bigger point to where I start to impact on a global, on a more so national scale of impact from A-list celebrities of how does the wealthy stay wealthy? How does a Rick Ross continue to be a Rick Ross when he doesn't sell as many albums as other rappers? Why are you living better and more wealthier than other rappers? Why is it that you got 50 plus Wingstops? See, how is it that you have all these different alcohol brands and you so collaborated? How did you build this wealth? How do you got the biggest swimming pool in the world?
Yeah.
I mean, in the United States, the biggest home pool in the United States. Why do you got it? Right? That's my point. So I say, listen, as an educator, we're the only people who don't get embraced by mainstream media like the other leaders of our community. We only got athletes, entertainers. Now we have educators. We have, if not more impact than our entertainers. Yes, the kids go crazy about the rap music, but it's more people who spent money with the educators in our community than they spent with the rappers.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know anybody who's bought a rap album, but I guarantee I know somebody who's bought a course.
Yeah.
Whether it's me, whether it's Alex, whether it's Wall Street Trapper, whether it's Jason, whoever it is, they've bought a course.
I noticed he mentioned everybody that's been on the podcast. It's a circle here. Okay, and I'm humble, and I got it by interviewing everybody. Okay, so that's my little start a podcast. Okay, I'm sorry.
So, but that's the point is that we're not embraced by any A-list celebrity backing.
Yeah,
I'm an educator. I made $1 million in a month. How do I embrace other people to make $1 million in a month? I know other educators that's made $1 million in a month. I know somebody's been on your podcast, showed they made $1 million in a month. Multiple women made $1 million in a month. We're getting to a point to where we need more embrace, because we need to show people that this is what they can do by causing and having impact, by knowing something, by executing and growing businesses. I have people who make $200,000 a month and come to me and they run cleaning service, industrial cleaning service, don't do anything under 16 stories. Black man, skyscrapers only. Another man, another one of my guys, in healthcare, run healthcare businesses, put nurses in schools. He puts the nurses in schools and has contracts for all of Forsyth County.
Wow.
He puts all of the nurses in the school. He gets paid off of every single nurse through Forsyth County.
Wow.
But why aren't we getting embraced by the A-list celebrities telling our people what we can do? That's the disconnect. And I say, yo, who's better connected than Ross that's respected now, feet on the ground, hands on the ground, accessible? Hove is the almighty. Hove not accessible.
Right.
You're not going and saying, yeah, let me sit down with Hov and have a meeting.
Right. Jay ain't about to have a couple hundred people in his pool.
No,
his crib.
right? So who's accessible? And I look at Ross and I look at what he did with Wingstop. I look at what he's been able to create with MMG, with Meek Mill, with everybody that's came out to be their own boss. Producing bosses is his mindset, and I go, what better than to connect with somebody who embraces the boss culture of be your own boss.
Right. How'd you connect with him?
So what I did was, I got on Instagram, right? Mm-hmm. Don't ask me what made me do it, I don't know. I found a good video of mine, talking my talk. I was talking about trust. And I said, I'm gonna give a mentorship spot away. And I'm gonna take you on a private jet with me to our next meetup. Mm-hmm. If you tag Rich Forever as many times as possible.
Jeez.
Listen, I had 6,400 comments. I had to stop it. I got the meeting within 48 hours.
Wow.
24 hours, his team contacted me. I met with one of his team members, sat down, and the same thing you said. They had to make sure it wasn't a scam. Right. I said, listen, I don't do anything for nobody. I teach people how to fish. I'm not fishing for you. I'm teaching you how to fish. Your business is up to you, what you handle and execute. I just teach you how to fish. Mm-hmm. That's it. I'm just not done for you services. I'm not doing anything for you. Not promise you anything. You're gonna come and learn how to work. I'm gonna give you my blueprints on how I make money and how I work.
Right.
And then I broke some of them down to him. And he said, okay. He left. He called me I was on my Zoom call teaching. He said, yo, Rose said, tomorrow morning, 9:30.
Come to the crib.
Come to the crib.
Was you nervous?
Extreme. Right? I felt like a kid. But it's Rose.
Right.
It's Ross. Right? Like, in my mind, 06 Ross Port of Miami came out. Yeah. You gotta understand, this is like my whole adult life. Ross been that dude. Yeah, no doubt. So I'm going, and homie come in the room, right? So they open the door for him. And it's like, everybody back up.
Hold on, at his crib?
Yes, listen, I'm sitting in the room, and they pull the doors open for him. His tray set out. His amenities is set there. All his brands is laid out. They pull the door open for me. He walk in, what's up, homie? Right? And we start talking, and as I'm talking, he's looking down, and he started talking to me like he was rapping.
What you mean?
He was like, yeah. He was like, see, if Rose get on it, you understand what's gonna happen? Like, you understand what's coming with that? Mm-hmm. He was like, is this Ross?
That's all your favorite songs start playing in your head.
Yo,
like,
listen, right
here.
Yo, and he sit here, and the way he hit it, like, man, it's Rose. Like, then he get to going laughing, and we talk. We had a 30-minute meeting. We lasted an hour and a half. So now he's slapping the table, he talking to me, breaking stuff down, and I'm listening to him, and I'm going, my man, whole persona of everything that I hear on these raps, he's doing it now. Like, he's doing it like, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm sitting here with one of my idols, like, and I had this meeting and go back and forth. It was just dope, like.
That's what's up.
It was legendary.
And I know that's just the start. And I know you got a busy day, man. So I don't want to keep you too long. But one, thank you again. Like I mean, I've learned so much, and you just got me like really thinking of other ways I can be smart about money. You know what I mean? Like at least sparking the conversation of like who thinks to get a $200 car note, wrap that joint, and make $600 a month. Like the principle is you get a liability, turn it into an asset, and have it making you money. Right? People just don't think like that. You feel me? So I'm thinking like, okay, where am I slipping? Like, so thank you.
That's why we're recession proof.
Absolutely. I like to make predictions on the podcast, man. So I want to know where you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years so that we can look back at this 5 years from today. Okay. And I can say I have the footage of where Marcus said he was going to do this 5 years ago, and look at him. 5 to 10.
I'm going to develop a financial literacy app that's going to be mandatory to put on every cell phone, on every Apple, either iPhone or Google Android. I'm going to make a financial literacy app that's going to be mandatory, like they put stocks on every cell phone. I'm going to make the financial literacy credit monitoring app that will be on every phone.
Dang, this ain't the first time you thought of that, huh? Kind of just flowed out. Like you've been doing this for a minute.
It's what I'm on. So 5 years from now, I'll have one of the leading softwares when it comes to financial literacy and credit education.
I love it. Do you specifically target black people?
No.
No?
It's just, that's just people who relate to me the most right now.
Gotcha. They like that swag.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I want to say thank you, man, and please let the people know how they can get in touch with you.
At him500 on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram at him500. That's the easiest way to contact me. Stay in touch. I shoot DMs back. You get voice memos. You might get a video. Just real connected with everybody. DMs is always close to empty, to where I keep them open. So
you reply to all your DMs?
For the most part, yes.
I did it for a while, and then I got so backed up, and now I can't catch up. So I'm you know what? I'm just gonna sit down this week and I'm gonna go through all. It's probably like 1,000.
Just delete all of those and start fresh, and then stay on top of it.
And who would have thought of that? That's crazy. Like this has been something that's been bothering me for like 3 months now.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, delete them. Start over. Thank you.
Yeah, because you're never gonna check them. They've been unread for 2 weeks. The message doesn't even matter anymore. Delete the story. It's story replies, and you'll get a whole bunch of likes, and delete it, restart over.
That is so amazing. First, okay, thank you. All right,
appreciate you
just
having
gave me
me.
a bar. You just gave me a bar. That was worth the price of admission. All right, cool. I want you to leave us with something that the people can take with them and hold on to for the rest of this year, for the rest of next year. Just leave us with a closing note.
With a closing note,
Before you get there, give me a formula. I like your formulas. You have like the way you teach.
Okay.
Give me a formula, and then we'll close.
A formula. I'm gonna give you guys a formula on something that everybody needs, and that's how to clean your credit. That's one of the things I don't believe in charging for myself. I believe in, if I get on the platform, the relationships I've been able to build with people like you, that I should be able to give our community that for free. So I tell people this, is that the reason why you can't get a lot of the negative items removed from your credit report is because there's a company called SageStream, there's a company called LexisNexis, there's a company called CoreLogics, there's a company called ARS, and there's a company called Innovis. Those are secondary data furnishing companies. Those companies house the information that verifies the negative information on your credit report that helps match the collection agency's information, your foreclosures, your repossessions. They match that information with your secondary data furnishing companies. If you opt out and suppress these 5 furnishing companies, it will enhance your deletions by 60%. When you do a dispute method, you have to understand as well is that only way you can remove a negative item if it's inaccurate or if it's unverifiable. We cause inaccuracies by removing unverifiable by removing the secondary data furnishers. That causes it to be unverifiable because this is where they verify your data. So we opt out of those. Then we make things unverifiable, meaning look at the names and addresses. Any misspelled names, any wrong addresses on your credit report are most likely tied to negative accounts or accounts on your credit report. Remove them. You should only have one. Boom. You can do that over the phone. You never send a dispute letter to remove addresses and misspelled names. You do it over the phone. Now you've caused inaccuracies and you help make things inaccurate and help cause the negative items to be unverifiable just by opting out and suppressing those. So now when you do a dispute, I tell people use a 609 letter. Find a template, make it sound like it's personal. Don't just use it cut and paste. Take some of the words out, make it sound personal. Make it sound like it's coming from first person. You're talking to the credit bureau. Then what do? You send your disputes in. That's one way to get negative items removed. biggest bar is most people don't know there's a company called Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB.gov. That's the government regulation site that governs the credit bureaus. The credit bureaus are private companies. So TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax are privately owned. Well, CFPB controls them. Well, if you don't want to have to, if you go through and you suppress the secondary agencies and you make things unverifiable and inaccurate, and it comes back and the company says, oh, that's true, it did belong to you. What I tell people to do is this. You can play a game against the creditors, the credit bureaus. You can play a game against them. Is that they have a computer system that scans and reads the letters. If they have 30 days to complete their investigation, I'm gonna send my letter and backdate it 2 weeks. So I take a letter and I go, okay, today's the 14th, I'm gonna put the first on my letter, send it in, backdate it 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, I'm gonna send a 30-day demand to comply. Meaning it's only been 2 weeks. Do you have my investigations or not? If you don't have my investigations, you have to remove the negative item. Oh, you don't have it? Cool. I'm not gonna wait for you to respond and delete it. I'm gonna go tell the government, the governing company, CFPB, you're not following their rules. I don't even care if they verify it or is accurate or not. You're wrong, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, because you have laws to follow, and if you don't abide by these laws, you're gonna get fined.
Dang, that's deep.
So now I go and take my letters and I send it to CFPB.gov and I say, hey, I sent my letters in, they have yet to provide me with my investigation results. What happens is that their computer system contacts their computer system and it says no results yet, removes the negative items off their credit report. That's how you remove negative items off your credit report.
Dang. All right, so I'm glad I got this, okay? Because these are one of those podcasts where you take a section, you just, like you have one computer, then you got your phone, watch the interview, and then you play, then pause, then you do it, then come back and play and pause. This is one you're going to have to watch over and over again, man. That's amazing.
So
you're brilliant.
What they have to do, if they pay attention, you know what I just told them? You made me give up how to make money off your credit report while building it with the smart car.
That's a fact.
I told them voluntarily how to clean their credit report. So you clean the negative items, you build it with the smart car, you go out and get credit cards, sell trade lines to make money off your credit. We just made them recession proof on the real social proof platform.
Ooh, with the bar to bring it full circle. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Yo, this has really been, I will say, one of the most educational podcasts I've ever done. This is really impacting me. Like, just while you're talking, it just got my brain working. And one thing it showed me is that I need to be more knowledgeable in what I do. Like you are extremely knowledgeable in what you do, in your game. You know what I'm saying? So that's just amazing. So just leave us with some closing words, man. I appreciate it. Dang, that was fine.
Always think outside the box. Challenge what anybody tells you, right? You always think for yourself. It's your mindset over anything. It's mindset. Mindset is the key to success. And it's not control your mindset. How do you control your mindset? A lot of times you control your mindset, you get further with actions. Actions will predict what you know versus what you think. You read 1 million books or take 1 million shots. Guess which one is going to be more effective? You can read 100 books but take 1,000 shots. Always do more action than you do in taking somebody else's action. Always take action over information. See, somebody can teach you what they've done. I know a lot of people read a lot of books. You can read a lot of books, but if you don't go out and take the action, you'll never see success. You're reading somebody else's success who took the shot, and because they made it, they're telling you what they did. That's the difference. Don't get caught up in the learning side versus the taking action and getting the experience. I go out and I try things. These businesses, people told me not to do. When I started it, I lost $90,000 in credit cards because I used the wrong banks. I used the wrong credit cards. I didn't know what I did, the wrong formula. I didn't tell the bank what I was doing. I lost. But only reason I learned is because I lost. I didn't take nobody else's word because I wouldn't have never did it. That's Anything I can tell you is you're going to learn more from actions and your losses than you can anywhere else. If not, learn from OPE, other people's experiences, but learn from people who are alive, who can tell you their experience in person. OPE, other people's experiences, because other people's money is great, but other people's experiences are even better when they can tell you how to curve and don't take their losses.
For sure. Hey, listen, if that's not a whole reason to just follow him 500, and do me a favor, I want you to not only follow Marcus, but send him a DM. Tell him that this podcast helped you. Tell him what you learned. Tell him thank you. Tell him that you're gonna join his program. Just give your appreciation, because I'm giving mine right now. Okay, so make sure you follow my boy him 500. Mark, I appreciate you, my brother.
I appreciate you, boss.
Peace. Go kill it.